Turbo and 2K show.
Let's go in the game.
What is up, 2K crew? How we doing? Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone made it through the first Sunday without football in months. But we are gearing up for next Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, which 2K crew, we will not be having a show because I have a feeling most people are going to be watching the Super Bowl, even though people are boycotting it. People are saying we're not going to watch it. I'm calling bullshit. Total bullshit.
Yeah.
Because it is a Super Bowl.
Look, I don't want either. I'm not rooting for either one of these teams either, but there's no way that I'm going to go through a Super Bowl Sunday and not watch the game.
No, I'm eating a lot because that is a staple. Probably drinking too much. Probably around the middle of the third quarter, probably trying to get Monday off work.
I already took the day off.
Oh, you stud.
It was kind of a curse though, because I took the day off like 3 weeks ago, and in my the plan of why I did this was because I was expecting the Lions to be there.
Ah, gotcha.
And then they followed up by losing to the Commanders, and I was like, shit, maybe I should just go to work that day and save the PTO. But I was like, no, fuck it, I'm just gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna eat too much. I'm gonna gamble too much, and and I'm not gonna have to worry about going to work the next day. So
Yep.
But no, it was it's a very, very bittersweet feeling. Like, I love football season. I love sitting there every Sunday and watching NFL from 1 o'clock to you go to bed at night. And I love, running parlays all throughout the day.
Yes.
And then running them all Monday night and then running them all Thursday night. And
it's a routine.
So, it's cool to get to this Super Bowl, and it's always fun to bet on that. And it's always fun, to go to these Super Bowl parties and all that. But it sucks because when that game's over,
it's over.
It's over.
It's over. And I have seen some countdown timers on Twitter saying how many days until college season kicks off, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. We got a whole summer, we got a whole spring. We've got baseball coming up, which we're going to get to tease it right on the top here. But before we get into that, like I said, we've got news. We got a bunch of news coming out. We're gonna go over our reactions to the AD Luka trade, as well as like I was telling TikTok right before we went live here. It's probably the fifth annual, wouldn't you say? Fifth annual Turbo and 2K's prop bet episode, which honestly 2K Crew is my favorite, one of my favorite episodes of the year, because what I do is I scour the internet for the funny bets, the ones that are on very, very special and specific sites. And if you really want to get in on these, good luck finding them, you absolute degenerate assholes. But if there's a will, there's a way. And I will kind of give you a heads up on some of these and give you our picks on those, as well as wrapping up the show with our picks on the big game. 2Ks, you ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start off with some news. And like I said, the AD Luka news was probably the biggest news since we've recorded last, but we're gonna save that. It's its own little segment here. But I was putting the show together, 2Ks, and this came across. This is from Adam Schefter on Twitter. Back to the NFL. Former Eagles head coach Chip Kelly is being hired as the Raiders, offensive coordinator per me and Pete Thamel. Now, I kind of, there was so much going into, it was more talked about after the game, 2Ks, about how, Chip Kelly was Ryan Day's first college coach. And it was all this, coming full circle, family moment, winning the big game. And now all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I got you here. Peace, I'm out. I'm going somewhere else. So Chip Kelly's going to work with Tom Brady, which is, I would have to admit, if you are Chip Kelly and you know that Tom Brady is going to be more in the building, because it was all the news that he was the one that picked the coach. So I think that's cool, and kudos to Chip Kelly. And it just kind of sucks for Ohio State being this far along to have to replace a coordinator like that. But then again, we saw last year where he pretty much midstream, just pulled Chip Kelly away from UCLA to come be the coordinator. So I have a very good feeling he's not going to not be hard pressed to find another one, but replacing someone of Chip Kelly's prowess it is going to be challenging.
Oh yeah, for sure. And a name that just kind of jumps off to me right off the bat is Brian Hartline, the wide receivers coach with Ohio State.
Yeah.
You obviously see the recruit, how good of a recruiter he is just with all the wide receiver talent that Ohio State has had since he's, had that job. He's a guy that with him recruiting that way and bringing in all that talent, you have to believe that there's other teams that have their eyes on him and are going to want to nab him. And so he's the first one that I think probably Ryan Day takes a pretty good long look at him and says, hey, this might be our opportunity to hold him down, keep him here in Columbus and not leave him, because I don't think he's got very much time as, just sticking as a wide receivers coach. He's young. He's going to want to work his way up. So he's the first name that kind of jumps off to me. As far as Chip Kelly leaving, it makes sense. To me, that one makes a lot more sense than Knowles leaving as the defensive coordinator and taking the Penn State job. That one was just a complete shock to me. You just got done coaching the best defense in college football. You're at Ohio State, you're coming off of a national championship, and you're going to go coach defensive coordinator with James Franklin, who's never won a big game in college football. That's not a lateral move. That to me, that's a step back, and to where Chip Kelly leaving for an NFL job, that's a step up. So I think as far as how things worked out here in the last couple of weeks for the Raiders, obviously pulling Pete Carroll as the head coach, and then having Chip Kelly, and Chip Kelly's also probably looking at it. And I don't know if he has any interest in ever wanting to get back to the NFL, but Pete Carroll's not going to be a coach for a long time.
No.
So if this is a 2-3 year thing, Pete Carroll gets the Raiders back going, I can see, Chip Kelly being the guy that takes over that job, in the near future too. So maybe that's where he's looking at it at that too.
And I think the big thing that jumps off the page at me is he takes a job without a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, AOC is probably still there, but he sucks.
And you have a draft where you have a lot of question marks as far as what you're going to get that, and there's really not a quarterback in the free agent market. That's going to be really worth that's going to change your team. I mean, that's for sure. There's not really you see what happened with Darnold there in Minnesota, and I have to believe he's probably going to be the best quarterback available. But what is Sam Darnold without KOC? That's my question. I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback, and I'm not saying that he can't be a quarterback on a winning team. He obviously proved that this year, but I think the KOC factor plays a huge role in his development at quarterback this year for the Vikings.
And it doesn't help throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson all the time.
Absolutely. And then having a number 2 like a Jordan Addison and a tight end like Hawkinson. They have plenty of weapons, a lot more weapons than you look over at that Raiders squad, and you look at their tight end. That's their best option.
And now, should we officially start the Will Howard to Oakland, or excuse me, Vegas rumors now? should we get on the forefront of this? I mean, it seems.
I mean, he's not a first round. He's not a second rounder.
Maybe not a first round pick, but
if he's available to you and you can find him in the 3rd or 4th, look, the Raiders have to go. They have to figure out a quarterback, but they also have a lot of other things that they have to address. And in the 1st round, you're not reaching for a quarterback, in my opinion. You have to go take the best available player, whether it's giving you another weapon on offense or whether it's giving you something on defense. There's a lot of holes on that Raiders team that they have to fill. But listen, you have a guy like Tom Brady in charge. I have to believe that they're going to make the right decisions.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up was now that Brady's in the mix now, I have a feeling we're going to see these the Davis drafts of old. See how predominant he actually is, and see how much input he has. He obviously has input on the coaches. Now let's see how much input does he have on the draft. Pick this guy, take this guy. No.
Yep.
And I have a feeling with him in the building, the whole just get me the fastest guy type thing that the Davises were known to do.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see. Well, 2Ks. Told you I was going to sprinkle on some baseball here. And this is from Not Another Sox podcast. Says tomorrow is truck day. Repeat, tomorrow is truck day. Now, 2Ks, what the hell does truck day mean? Truck day means is that all of the equipment and everything from each MLB stadium is being loaded up and headed down to spring training. Pitchers and catchers are on the way, and we get baseball at least some baseball before the end of this month. 2Ks. We get to take a peek at some of the best prospects in the game, as well as new faces and new places, and just baseball is back.
Yeah,
baseball is back. And with that being said, got a cool little stat here. This is from Baseball's Greatest Moments over on Twitter. Absolutely insane stat. Innings at catcher. You have Joe Mauer plus Buster Posey. They've caught for a combined 17,175 innings. Yadi Molina himself, 18,294. Just an insane stat. Now, you could say this is kind of skewed because Mauer didn't play a whole lot behind the plate.
sure.
Buster Posey played the majority of his career behind the plate. Towards the end, did dabble with a little bit of first base, but it just goes to show you how durable and how dominant and just what a legend we got to witness with Yadi Molina.
Yeah, and just how much better he made his pitching staffs. You know,
100%.
you look at the guys you look at Mauer and Posey on the left there. Offensively, I'd give the nod to them. Obviously, they're more middle of the lineup bats. Can change games that way. I think Yadi was a clutch hitter. He had hits in big situations, but he was never that three guy in the lineup, cleanup batter in the lineup. He was more of a back end of the lineup kind of guy. Your typical catcher, just
a move the line type guy.
Yes,
yeah.
But as far as what he did defensively, holding runners, getting strikes that were not strikes, and there's a couple pitchers that were pitchers for him that maybe aren't Hall of Famers today if it wasn't for him as the backstop there. So. No, he, as far as all around catcher, what he did defensively, best I've ever seen.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, us here in Michigan got the privilege of watching Pudge do his thing.
Yep.
And in my eyes, him and Pudge were just the quintessential catchers of our day. The best all around, and I would argue that Pudge was a little bit better of a hitter, but yeah, you're right. As far as hitting is concerned, you'd be hard pressed to find in our lifetime a better hitting catcher than Posey. And Mauer was a 300, basically a 300 hitter. Posey had a little bit more pop, and it's all the rage saying now Posey's retired. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You would have to think that Yadi is just gonna walk right in.
Yeah, he'll probably miss it by one vote.
Sure.
One vote. And it's going to be
same guy that didn't
that
vote for
same
Ichiro.
fucking asshole that didn't vote for Ichiro.
Yeah.
Which that guy should just be, revoked from any voting at all. That's an absolute joke. Like when things like that happen and there's only one guy, you have to know, like, all right, this job is way over my head. This responsibility is over my head. I can't handle this. Like, you have to,
or you take it far too seriously.
Yeah, but if Ichiro's not, then what? Who is? And I'm very, very hard as far as who I would give votes to as far as getting in the Hall of Fame. But Ichiro, there's not even I don't even need to have an argument. Like, that's obvious.
No.
So
no, and I think the obvious move is here. We have to have voters, like their ballots public.
Absolutely,
it just has to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're a voter that's not utilizing all 10 spaces, I don't know what the hell's the matter with you. Because your 10 boxes should be, I want this guy in now, and then there's some part of those boxes are, I should vote for this guy because I want to keep him on the ballot just in case there is a down year, so that he gets his fair shot. And a lot of guys don't do that. They're voting for 1, 2, 3, 4. Use all 10. Use all 10. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. Let's see here. Is there anyone? So Senior Bowl wrapped up yesterday, and it was cool to see my Irish dudes make take the opportunity and run with it. But we're seeing that, Jackson Dart might be the number 2 quarterback over Shador. And you and I were talking about this 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of folks that are even saying they'd take him number 1 over Cam Ward. And like you and I talked about, there's a lot of folks saying that, no, Mr. Penn State, come over here. I don't give a fuck who the quarterbacks are because these guys stink.
Yeah.
And especially when you're drafting number 1 overall, you cannot afford to miss.
You can't miss on it. You cannot miss on it. And I think we're gonna start to see some things when the combine starts. Obviously, these organizations are gonna get interviews with players, and I think it's gonna probably expose some players, and like say what you want as far as like the Cam Ward situation with teams were saying, well, he shouldn't have even, or I heard a lot of people saying, well, he shouldn't have even been playing in that bowl game. Well, no, he fucking played in the bowl game because he wanted to break the record.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing that mattered to him.
Yeah.
As far as what he did for, the University of Miami in that season, and what the University of Miami and all the teammates had did for him, he didn't care about any of that. It was about break the record and then not play. And people were like, well, it was a privilege, for my bullshit. If you sign up to fucking go play, and the way that things are these days, where you're being paid an awful lot of money. He was paid an awful lot of money to transfer to Miami. Play the fucking game out. Yeah. I understand it's a bowl game and it's not a playoff, and they weren't in the playoff, but play the fucking game out.
Especially since you played the first half.
Like, to me, in my opinion, things like, and I know it's probably not the popular opinion, but things like that matter. And if I'm an organization and I'm thinking about spending my first pick of the draft on somebody like that, and they drop out and they get their record, and then they don't come back out for the second half of a game, I'll look elsewhere for it. Especially when you're not, like, if you were Jaden Daniels good, or you're Caleb Williams good, maybe I'll give you a pass.
Yeah.
But you weren't that good. You weren't that. You weren't in the playoffs, so you obviously weren't, anything special. So
weren't the Celtics down like 20 points in this game 10 minutes ago?
Yeah. That's how,
and now they're up by 8.
Yeah. That's
Jeez, Pete.
NBA is a game of runs, but the Celtics are they're a team that can put up a lot of points and a lot of points fast.
Well, they're the best team in the NBA, aren't they? But cool. I mean, this stat here, or this tweet here, 2Ks, about Jackson Dart might put you over the edge to draft him the number 1 quarterback overall. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
This is from Pete Schrager. Best Jackson Dart factoid. He has a little brother named Diesel Dart. How awesome is that? So we have Jackson with an X and Diesel. Now, I would make an argument that I would want to draft Diesel over Jackson. But Diesel sounds like he's the little brother, so we'll get to see him later.
Yeah.
But any family that has the balls to name their kid Diesel is awesome.
Yeah. And Jackson, and it's pretty damn cool. Jackson and Diesel, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and especially with the X.
Yeah,
the
100%.
CK is overplayed.
Yeah.
CK is overplayed. Trust me. Trust me.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, 2Ks, that's about all the news I have. Let's jump into this 80 Luka talk here.
This is crazy to me.
Yeah, this I remember watching McAfee the other day, and they had Shams on, and they were talking about the trade deadline upcoming, and at that point, the main talking point was Jimmy Butler, just because Pat Riley's done with them. He's now suspended him indefinitely. Now it's just trying to find, a dance partner at that point. And Shams was like, well, I really don't foresee any like big names going. I really don't foresee a whole. I mean, if we are, it's going to be just a lot of, payroll dump.
Yep.
And then this hits. And do you have the exact? Because it was essentially player for player, but there was extra throw-ins and I believe a first round pick and. Knowing the NBA, probably like 2039.
Yeah, it is. It is. But, it's 2029.
Okay,
was where the draft pick came. Now, the Mavericks dumped off a couple other players too. They're obviously clearing up money.
Yeah.
And then they also took the Lakers. They got Max Christie from the Lakers also. So Max Christie is a younger guard, pretty good shooter, solid defensively. The Mavericks got a lot better defensively out of this. Luka is not a great defender.
No.
Now Luka is a generational talent that like you don't You don't get these very often.
No.
He's a guy. He's a superstar player in the NBA that you can build a roster around that goes and wins and go and win championships, or at least get you to the championship, which he's done. He's done it with Dallas. Now a couple of times he's got him. He's made runs with him. I don't know. I saw this last night, and I'd been drinking quite a bit, so I didn't really. I was more just like shocked, and then honestly, I kind of just kept on drinking, forgot about it, and then I woke up this morning and saw it again on my phone. I was like, oh shit, it wasn't a dream. It's real.
This is real.
And because you don't see trades like this
No.
in the NBA ever, where like when you get a guy like Luka, you don't trade those guys.
No.
And I get it. Anthony Davis, he's an all-star in this league. He's going to go down as an NBA Hall of Famer probably. He's as one of the best forwards in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But Luka?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is 31, going into age 32. Luka, 24, 25. I don't even know if we've seen the best of Luka. We've already seen the best of Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis isn't getting any better.
No.
We've seen his best. And he still plays. He's still a really, really good player. He's still, like I said, Dallas got a lot better defensively. But this trade I need somebody that knows more about building NBA teams and knows more about to explain to me how this trade makes sense, and how how does your team, how do the teammates, because it sounds like this trade all just kind of come out of the woodworks. Nobody really knew about it. Luka didn't even know about it. LeBron didn't even know that this was going on.
That shocked me.
What he says.
LeBron didn't know.
Yeah. And so this trade comes up and it happens. How do you explain to the other players on Dallas that this is a good move for the franchise moving forward? Because I don't know how you do that. Like I said in the beginning of this, a generational talent, you don't get very many of these. Like there are maybe 1-2 players in the league right now that you could say are better than Luka.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 20, 30 teams in the NBA that would die to have Luka on their team.
Mm-hmm.
And they just traded him for a Anthony Davis, who's, like I said, he's beyond his prime, and a 2029 first round pick, and a solid guard, good shooter, good defender, but just a your NBA role player, not a big difference maker.
Well, let's take a look at the standings too, Case, because this even makes it more not make sense. Lakers are sitting in the fifth seed in the West, 10 games behind the Thunder. Dallas is 13.5 back, so 3.5 back of the Lakers, and they're sitting in the number 9 spot. So if the season ended today, both those teams would be playoff teams. Mm. Yeah, that I just don't. It's not as if, okay, because we've seen in other sports where, even going back to earlier in the season, the whole, all right, the Rams are looking to trade Matt Stafford, Luka, everybody that touches the football. Mm-hmm. And because the season wasn't going the way that they really envisioned. Mm-hmm. So they're like, you know what, let's just reboot. Stafford's getting old. Let's reboot. Let's get as much draft capital as we can, and let's just move forward, turn the page, rip it down, build it back up. You can't even really say that Dallas is doing that because they're firmly in a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're in the 10th seed and on the verge of losing that. However, if you go down to San Antonio, who's the 12th seed, they're only 3 games back of Dallas with plenty of season to go. I mean, we're 81 games and we're at 50. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of season left. And so I did pull some tweets here that I'm not so sure that's going to clarify anything, but I definitely think it'll help move the conversation here, because like I said, everyone was just what just happened. This tweet's from Hembo over ESPN. Most seismic player for player trades. Number 1, Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. Number 2, Champ Bailey for Clinton Portis. 3, Rogers Hornsby for Frankie Frisch. 4, Peter Forsberg for Eric Lindros. Totally forgot about that one. Number 5, Alex Rodriguez for Alfonso Soriano. So obviously, the what he's saying is it's seismic because it's player for player, big name for big name.
Mm-hmm.
And I did check the replies, and there were some other ones, but Hembo hit the nail here on the top 5. Now, I honestly think this is a very good move for the Lakers. I'm not so sure what the hell's going on in Dallas. I mean, maybe Cubes has really lost his mind, but yeah, if you're the Lakers and you acquire LeBron, who is arguably the best player ever, and then you have if you're LA and this trade comes, comes in your email, says, hey, we want Anthony Davis, this guy, in a draft pick. Here's Luka.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be like, hold on, was this a joke?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's spamming me? New phone. Who this? I mean, seriously. And then I honestly would not be able to sign the paper fast enough to get that pushed through. Now you have two possibly all-time greats on the same team. Now, question is, can they survive? And I think if this trade would have happened, let's say Luka's second year in the league, when LeBron was still trying to be the alpha, still trying to be, the dude, and now it seems like, he does it, but it isn't like he has to do it every game for 48 minutes. It's like he's giving more leash to other players, AD in particular. And now you slide in Luka. I mean, scoring wise, great.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, horrible. Because from what I've seen, the Lakers weren't a great defensive team to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And Luka doesn't play any defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And now there's one more tweet here that I want to get to. This is from Coach JB over on Twitter. Lakers made the dumbest trade in NBA history. Lost both bigs, best defender in basketball, to get the white LeBron, who plays zero defense. Lakers must be ready to make more moves because this ain't it. And I agree. I have a feeling the Lake Show is not done.
Yeah, I think that's I think that take is stupider than the trade. I mean, so because I don't think it's a bad trade at all for the Lakers, and I don't think that they're done, and I think you can find good defensive bigs in the NBA that those are not very hard to find. What you can't find are guys that can go and get you 25, 30 points every night, 10 assists every single night, 8 to 10 rebounds every night. You can't find those guys in the league. And now they got two of them, and him and LeBron. And you got guys like, Austin Reeves that can, now you take the ball out of his hands, because I don't think he's great with the ball in his hands. He turns the ball over a lot, but he's a very good shooter. Mm. So now you surround those guys with shooters. Luka's a very good, is a solid shooter. And there's going to be times now where you can take Luka where he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands, and he can play with the ball with it not in his hands, because you can let LeBron make those decisions. I think that they're going to figure things. Look, they're in a better spot than Dallas is right now.
Oh, 100%.
Dallas is getting Anthony Davis. I get it; he's a very good defender, but who's going to score? Who's going to be their true scorer? Because Kyrie, I mean, he's number one. They made the signing for Klay Thompson in the offseason. Klay Thompson's been a fucking shell of himself this year. He'll have a game where he will score 25, 30, and then he'll follow it up with 5 or 6 games in a row where he scores under 10. So there's just no consistency with him. I think that's a really boneheaded take on this whole thing. Really, like I said in the very beginning of all this is a superstar league. You got to have superstars to win championships in this league, and the good teams have one, have two. Some of them have two, and when you have, like, Dallas had that, and now Dallas gave that up, and Kyrie is a number 2 on a championship team, and Anthony Davis is a number 2. Though those guys, they're not. Those are the Robins. They're not Batman. They're not the guys that are going to go and win a ring by themselves. And to where, who knows how many more years LeBron's going to do this? Who knows if LeBron's going to stick it out in LA after this year? And so there's a lot of question marks there. To where now the Lakers made this move to where, okay, if LeBron leaves, if LeBron retires and he's not there anymore, it just goes right into Luka. And Luka has proven in this league that he can take teams to the championship. And if you can put it, and I have a feeling that the Lakers are going to do more to put a team around him than what the Dallas ever did in the time that he was in Dallas, because Dallas didn't really do a very great job of putting guys around him. You can say Kyrie, but it took a long time for them to do that. Because before, you got to go back to before Kyrie, they really didn't have anybody there, and he was still
Porzingis.
You go and you go to the COVID year where and Porzingis is a solid player, but Porzingis is what, option number 3 or 4 on this Boston team.
That Boston team's loaded.
Yeah, I think that this is, not only did the Lakers get better and the Lakers have a better chance of winning it this year when Luka gets healthy and gets back on the floor, but this is a good move for the Lakers moving forward. You have a guy that's 25 years old that is a generational player. This is the guy where players in the league that are looking for a new place to go play, they seek out talent like Luka because they know that guys like Luka can get them. LeBron did it for years. How many fucking guys at that, spot up shooters, great defenders, you get to the end of their career and where do they want to go? They want to go play with LeBron because he guarantees you a spot in the playoff. If you have LeBron on your team, this LeBron in his prime. When you had LeBron on and he was the guy, he guaranteed you a spot in the playoffs, and that gives you a chance to go chase rings.
And a deep run.
And Luka does it. Luka does it. With Luka on the floor and Luka on your team, you are not going to be a team that misses out on the playoffs. So to me, I think it's a home run pick for our trade for the Lakers.
Well, right now, like I said, the Lakers are 28-19, 10 games behind OKC. So let's keep an eye on that moving forward to see what the Luka effect is and see it. They're sitting pretty at a 5 right now, but like I said, there's 30 games left. So let's see what the improvement is. As I'm with you, they're a much better team now, and especially given AD's injury past, he seems a little bit more fragile than Luka. So. I guess it's a TBD type thing. We can sit here and be like, yeah, here are the pros and cons. But when it comes down to it, wins and losses is what matters.
Yeah. And the other thing with Anthony Davis too is I feel like Anthony Davis is the guy where you can watch him one night and he's really, really good, best player on the floor. Scores 20-some points, has 3, 4, 5 blocks, has 14, 16 rebounds, and just dominates the game. And then you watch him in the next game and he does absolutely nothing. Yeah. And it's just. He's lazy on defense and picks up 6, 8 rebounds and scores 14 points and that's not you're not going to see very many games where when you look at the box score afterwards where Luka's not double digit points, double digit assists, double digit rebounds. Like that's a fucking stupid take.
Yeah, if you were to
if you were going to say, like, if you're going to use the comparison, he's the white LeBron, I'll take that fucking comparison any day. Like, yeah. Because, if I'm not mistaken, in my lifetime of watching basketball, I didn't watch a whole lot of Jordan, but in my lifetime of truly watching basketball, say whatever the fuck you want about LeBron, he's the best fucking player I've ever watched. So,
Yep. Like, and to end our very rare NBA takes here, 2Ks, the Pistons don't suck.
No, Cade Cunningham is the dude. Yeah. Like, that guy, that kid has gotten so much better. And not that he wasn't that, but it seemed like it took him a couple years, and this year he's finally has found it. And they got some talent around him.
They got a good coach.
And yeah, absolutely. Wow. It's a whole different story from what it was last season watching them. And doing and it's unfortunate this year that the Ivy injury where because I think he was starting to kind of hit his stride in his career too. And him and Cunningham together hitting their stride at the same time would have been pretty special to see. Yeah. But they got other guys that are stepping up. And I saw that there's a trade in the works that's a possibility where they could get Brandon Ingram from New Orleans. That would be a pretty good addition to their team. Give them another scorer, give them a stretch guy, stretch 4, that I think they kind of need. Sometimes Tobias Harris is the one that does that now for him, and he's kind of hit or miss. We don't know what version of him you're going to get, to where I think Ingram is a little bit of a step up. So if they finalize that, which it's kind of being talked about, like it might happen here in the next couple of days.
Sweet. It's because the Pistons were the laughing stock for the longest time, and now they don't stink. They don't stink.
Well, they paid all that money for their was it Monty Jackson or the Monty? I can't remember the head coach that they had last. They paid all the money for him, and that was just a complete shit show. Yeah, and I mean, players didn't like him. It was a bad situation, and for JB Bickerstaff to take over the job this year, and I mean, just the way that the team plays, and guys, that's what you notice it with Cade Cunningham is. Was it the coaching that was holding him back? Because he was the first overall pick of the draft. You knew what the talent that he was, but we just weren't seeing that. And now seeing this year with the right coaching in place, I think it was a coaching problem, not so much a Cade Cunningham problem.
I wholeheartedly agree. Well, 2Ks, let's get to some props.
Yeah.
Let's get to some props. Let's have some fun. And like I said, we'll give you these props, and then we'll give you our picks on the big game on Sunday. In 2Ks, you haven't seen any of these. You're coming in fresh. Now, I will say that, and I've been saying it now for the last couple of years. Prior to like the FanDuel and all, the online gambling boom, it was very easy to find these funny props. I had to go to page 3 of a Google search to find these. So they are getting harder and harder, and I don't know if it's, the people don't, like, websites don't want to do them anymore. Like, they don't get clicks because the real betting stuff gets clicks. But this is from the Sports Geek. And the weirdest Super Bowl 2025 bets, outrageous and fun props and wagers. 2Ks, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready? Okay. I got to remember how this site works now, because I looked at about 20 of them. Where'd it go? All right. Color of liquid poured on winning coach. Now, this was the Gatorade prop for years. And for all you degenerates, you can find these over on Bovada. Never heard of it. And makes me want to think, what else could you actually bet on while you're over on Bovada? Betting favorite here is purple 2Ks at plus 175, followed by blue, lemon, green, or yellow, lime green or yellow, followed by orange, followed by clear, followed by no liquid at all. So where are you feeling this one, 2Ks? Now, does it matter who wins as to which color of Gatorade is being poured?
What was that? The picture there? That's orange, and that's coming from the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I believe that was last year.
Okay, and I like the Chiefs to get this one done. I'm not giving away my pick yet. So we're looking at what, plus 4? Does that say 450?
Yep, plus 450.
450 for the orange. Purple, I think with these kind of bets, you've got to go, the plus 175 is not real intriguing to me. Like, I want to get a little bit more bang for my buck on this one. Now, the plus 700 for the clear water, that's just outrageously dumb. Like, there's no chance. And the plus 1800 for no liquid, there's going to be liquid.
Yeah,
so
this isn't the Mayo Bowl.
I see a picture already from last year. Chiefs have orange. I think I like that plus 450 because I think it's the most bang for your buck. It's something that's actually is possible. So I'm going to go orange here.
I'm going to go extremely I'm torn. Do you go OG and go lemon lime, or do you go glacier blue, which is by far the most tasty?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I'm picking, I probably am going with the purple. I think purple's the best.
You like,
but I am a big fan of the purple. Now the OG lime, like, who drinks that? Who drinks that shit? Because that's who does?
Psychos.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I mean, like, I've never been like, quenching, thirst. I need to drink real bad. I walk into the gas station and be like, I'm going to get one of these yellow Gatorades. I would go for the water before I went for the yellow Gatorade. So, and I'm honestly not a big orange person either, but I saw the picture of the orange and I like the plus 480. So that's why I'm sticking with the orange. But if it was just up to me, like I had a choice on what kind of Gatorade I want for the game, I want the purple.
I'm going blue on here.
I like the blue, solid choice too.
Glacier Blue is by far, at least in my opinion, the best Gatorade. All right, number 2, Super Bowl MVP mentions first in speech. Now, the sports geeks were taking purple on the Gatorade, and let's see what the choices are for. So the entity could be God or Jesus, teammates, city, family members / friends, coach, doesn't mention any of the above, which would be weird, or the owner. I think this is a slam dunk. I think it's God or Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, those Chiefs, if it's the Chiefs guys, those Chiefs players, especially when you're talking about Mahomes and Kelsey, they really love Coach Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. And I think that when it comes to the success that the two of them have had, Andy Reid plays a huge, factor in all of that. What is it? Family members and friends.
Now, if it's Travis Kelsey, does he think garage beer?
I mean, first, probably not.
Maybe New Wave Sports and Entertainment for the podcast.
Could be.
Maybe the 92%ers.
Could Travis Kelsey go family members and friends? And could there be like a Taylor Swift proposal?
Hold that thought, because that's one of the props.
Is it really? Yeah. I've been thinking about this all week, that there's a possibility that this goes down. Like Travis Kelsey has like this huge game. Travis Kelsey possibly retires after all this ends and walks it off with fucking proposing to like the biggest star
ever
of all time.
Ever.
I mean, that would be pretty baller fucking move if that did happen. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna go coach on this one. I think
coach.
I think that. No, I'm not. I'm not going to
go
go coach, because the thing is, if the game goes the other way and the Eagles win this, I don't think that they're going to be saying anything about that, about Coach Sirianni there.
Now this was a tweet from TJ Moe from last year.
It's hard to say city because obviously the Super Bowl is not a home game for either one of these teams, so it's hard to go with the city on that. Nobody really ever speaks about the owners on there. I'm gonna go with your pick on that one. Thank God.
Now
that just seems to be the thing that is most popular.
Pat Mahomes said last year, "I want to give glory to God. Without him, none of this is possible." I truly mean that. I'm just so proud of my teammates. I've just lost for words. So he hits 2 of them right there, but the big man upstairs was first.
Yeah.
Big man upstairs.
I'm gonna go with that one too. I think that's probably the safest bet to go with.
And that is who Sports Geeks said too. What team will Drake wear on Super Bowl Sunday? Now, there's only 2 that you can pick from. KC has minus 170, and the Eagles have plus 130. Is Drake just a fan of every single team?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one. I like the plus 130, and I think that the world is just sick of the Chiefs. And so therefore I think that maybe Drake's going to take the more popular opinion of riding it out with the Eagles on this one.
That does seem to be like a Drake thing to do. Will the power go out during the game? Yes or no?
Man, what are the odds on yes?
Let's see here.
This was
plus 1,600.
This was 49ers and Ravens game, right? When the power went out, was that?
Yes, that was the Harbaugh Bowl.
Yes.
Man,
I'll put $1 on this and with those odds and say, yeah, sure. I mean, like what? Yeah. I'll lose $1 on it. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to happen, but
what the hell?
Yeah, I'm going to throw one down on it.
So what, $1 will net you 160?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. Or 16, sorry. Nothing wrong with that. What will happen to the price of Bitcoin during the game? Will it go up or will it go down? The betting favorite is going up. Sports Geek said it's going to go down. Up is minus 135, down plus 150. Now, mind you, this is on a Sunday, but if you're hip to the Bitcoin scene, you can buy Bitcoin 24 hours a day. It doesn't have to be like during business hours like the stock market. So, it's been doing one of these lately.
Yeah,
it's been doing one of these. Now
we need some people's parlays to hit in this game, and start making some money, and then they'll start start buying in on it. Fuck it, I'll go up. Let's get it to go up.
Yeah, hell yeah. Will any player propose on the field after the game?
I'm taking yes. I think that I just have this feeling that Kelsey's going to have a big game. They're gonna three-peat, and they're gonna win a ring, and Kelsey's gonna be given a ring. This has been like a fucking storybook for the last couple of years, watching this all go down, and hate them, love them. What I understand, there's a lot of Chiefs haters out there, and that's just how it goes when you're a successful team. The Patriots had that, and Tom Brady for years and years. So, but. I mean, for me, just being a sports fan, being a fan of watching football in general, like, you got to respect it at the same time. Like, you have to respect it, the way that this team goes about their business, and they just always find ways to win. And so, I'm riding this. I'm saying it happens, and
that's plus 300.
Yeah, I mean,
plus 300.
And like we said earlier, how fucking cool. I mean, it would be pretty fucking cool.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the greatest retirement announcement has to be Jared Allen. You remember his? He retires, hops on the horse, and just rides off, literally rides off into the sunset. If Kelsey can pull this, if this does happen, this is a retirement announcement that will never be topped.
Never, you can't top it. I mean, Taylor Swift is the biggest star in the world. You three-peat. You're a Hall of Fame tight end. This would be the best retirement of all time, and probably safe to say nobody would ever top it.
And he probably will be fighting for his right to party.
If that all goes down, I will be fighting for my right to party with him.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
For first TV advertisement, Booking.com or GoDaddy. Now there's some different odds here. Okay, we have Booking.com at minus 115, GoDaddy at minus 115. So even money or even odds there. What do they say here? The geeks say that they have some confidence in web hosting company GoDaddy coming out of the gate swinging. It's one of the most well-known companies to advertise during the Super Bowl. In 2005, GoDaddy debuted and immediately made an impression with the advertisement that Fox intended to ban from the broadcast. Now, speaking of some of the commercials, I'm curious to see if Bud Light put out their banger.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that? With Shane Gillis?
I have not.
Oh shit. We're watching that after the show.
Okay.
It's quite possibly the commercial to bring Bud Light back. I mean, it is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And first of all, Shane Gillis is the man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And this just takes him from, he's getting closer and closer to immortal as far as a guy's guy. So yeah, we will be watching it, and I just hope amongst hope, because yes, they let this one leak. You can't let the banger leak.
Right.
You let a teaser leak, and then you have a banger. You have at least one more banger in the books. So I'm just hoping. But yeah, if they're both minus 115, give me GoDaddy.
I'll go the other way. I'm gonna go Booking.com. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know why, but I'm just a woman if I can ride with.
Sometimes you got to go with your heart too, Case. How many times will Roger Goodell be shown kickoff to final whistle? I have this over-under is very low.
Yeah.
At 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. Give me over it plus 100.
Yeah, I'll take the over on that. I think there's probably a good chance they show him the over before the game even kicks off. So
this should have been who will have more showings, Roger Goodell or Taylor Swift.
Right, yeah, that would have been a lot better bet because I would probably ride on Taylor Swift on that one.
Yeah.
Especially if Travis gets himself a touchdown or two.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I would definitely ride the over on this one. Yeah, they're obviously going to be showing him. He's the fucking commissioner of football, and it's the biggest stage of the season. So yeah.
Yeah, that's part of his job is to be there. Will Kendrick Lamar mention Drake? I have no idea. Sure.
Yeah, plus 300. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm not real hip as to why this is a thing.
Yeah, I don't really follow either one of them. I could care less.
So that is that. All right, I got a couple more here, 2Ks. All right. Let's see here. Will a player or coach cry during the national anthem?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I know that the no is the plus 285 on this, but yeah, I mean, like
Chris Jones is going to do it. He cries for everything.
And it's the Super Bowl. This is the biggest. This is what you play the game for.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Chris Jones cried during the national anthem of Championship Week.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's a no-brainer. Will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift? Yes, plus 500.
You already know my answer on this one. I think it's happening.
Lock it down. There will be plenty of Taylor Swift prop bets, including whether or not she is shown during the national anthem. Yes, minus 120. No, plus 110. Give me the yes on that. How many times she is shown during the anthem? Over or under 1.5. Both are at minus 110.
She'll probably have her own camera on her. Like it'll just.
Oh yeah.
There will be a channel that you can go to on YouTube Live, where you can just like the Taylor Swift cam.
Yeah,
the Swiftie cam, and you just get to watch her in the booth the whole game.
I would honestly be shocked if that was a thing, to see how many people were viewing that as compared to the actual game.
How many teenage girls out there would much rather watch that than watch the football game? And like, they don't want to watch the fucking football game. My two daughters, they could care less about what's going on in that football game. But if they had a camera on Taylor Swift for 3.5 hours and what she's doing during that game, they would watch that shit all night long.
You could record that, just play it for them when they're bored. You can also bet on whether Travis Kelce and the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl in the same year that Swift wins the Grammy Award for Album of the Year, plus 900. 2Ks. Let's get into this. Kendrick Lamar's halftime guests: Future, plus 125. Metro Boomin, plus 125. Lil Wayne, plus 164. Baby Keem, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 170. I only know one of those people.
Lil Wayne and Future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be cool with seeing both of them. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
We already talked about if there's a power outage. That's not your job prop. Any quarterback to record a reception. Yes, plus 1,600. No, minus 6,600.
Yeah, this is where, these are the props that would have been a lot of fun if the Lions were to be in a Super Bowl. Like, you get the Ben Johnson offensive style and Dan Campbell just like giving him the reins to do whatever the fuck he wants. Right. And yeah, but with these two coaches, even like going back to last year with San Francisco, I think Kyle Shanahan's willing to do it. We saw it with Christian McCaffrey threw a touchdown pass in the game last year. These two coaches, it seems like, they just kind of Andy Reid knows what he's got. He's not going to take the ball out of the best quarterback in the game's hands in situations. And Sirianni, they're going to try to pound the rock as much as they can with Saquon. And I think
Saquon throws.
I think Jalen Hurts becomes he's going to run the ball a lot in this game too. He's going to have to be, they're both going to have really good running games to be able to beat this. I don't see a lot of fuckery happening in this game. I do like the plus 1600, so I would maybe throw just a little bit of money on it, just sprinkle a little bit. But I'm not putting big money on it because I think there's a better chance that it obviously does not happen.
And what would be cool? Oh, never mind. Any non-quarterback to throw a touchdown.
You know,
plus 1400 for yes.
The thing is, I mean, it's a Super Bowl, and you're gonna, you know, that there's both of these teams have plays in their playbook that they've worked on in practice all season long that they haven't had the balls to run it in a game, and they don't want to show it. And in the Super Bowl, you're gonna let it all hang out, and you know, so there's the pot. Like I said, this is the same answer with the last one. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm willing to sprinkle some money on it, and you know, laugh and be happy when it does happen. So
well, that you know. Travis Kelce is raring to throw a touchdown, especially in the Super Bowl. Especially in the Super Bowl. Any offensive linemen score a touchdown?
That one, I'm going to have to go with a no on it. Like I said, if the Lions were in this and my boy Dan Skipper was out there, you know, reporting eligible for duty, he would probably be a touchdown scorer in a Super Bowl game. But with Skip not being in there, Lions not being a part of this, there's going to be probably a lot of tush pushing going on. That's what the Eagles do, and Mahomes, he does it a different way. He gets out of the pocket and does all his running like that. So no, I don't think any offensive linemen are becoming touchdown scorers in this game.
Quick little stat here. For the record, only 3 quarterbacks have actually caught a pass in the Super Bowl: Nick Foles, John Elway, and Jim Kelly. And just by that much, could have been Tom Brady as well. Well, that's all the fun props that I got here for us 2Ks. Let me do this real quick. And let's get to our Super Bowl picks here, 2Ks. The official Super Bowl picks of Turbo and 2Ks. We're going to give you, against the spread, our over, under, and MVP. So right now, well, before we get into that, I did pull some stats here. There was one that I forgot. This would have fit in well with our NBA talk because we're an NBA podcast today. This is from ML Football. Tom Brady has made the Super Bowl nearly half of the seasons that he played, a higher percentage than Joel Embiid's games played. Tom Brady made it to a Super Bowl in 48% of his seasons played, and Joel Embiid has played 47% of his career games. Love his PTO plan. Now, this one was kind of cool. This was from Bussin' with the Boys. Now, before too long, Bussin', you guys are gonna have to take that Barstool logo off your Twitter here, because I don't know if you heard, Bussin's leaving Barstool. They said the only active quarterback to beat Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game is Joe Burrow. Now, there's 2 of them, but Brady is no longer active. So 2 quarterbacks are the only people to beat Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game. With that being said, 2Ks. There we go. As it sits right now, Kansas City is a 1.5 point favorite. Over under set at 48.5. Where are you headed right now?
You talking winner or over under?
Both.
I'm going with the Chiefs. And you know, I've been back and forth on this one. Until somebody beats them, I can't pick anybody else. This team has just proven over and over and over again that they just know how to win games. And if there's ever a game that's close, they just find a way in every single situation to win that game. They always find a way to somehow be the team that has the ball last. And when the ball is in Patrick Mahomes' hands, he always finds a way, whether it's using his feet to pick up a first down to an extended drive, whether it's using his feet to get out and find Travis Kelce just making up his own route out there, improvising basically his entire job out there, catches the ball and does whatever he does. Now this year with the addition of Xavier Worthy, I think that there's going to be a big player or two in this game that goes with him. Their defense is, there's a lot of talk about how good this Eagles defense is. I think the Chiefs defense is the best. I think that Steve Spagnuolo defense, since he's taken over as a defensive coordinator, has been, you can talk all day about what the Chiefs do offensively, but since Spags has taken over as a defensive coordinator there in Kansas City, I believe that he is what has taken the Chiefs from here to here.
Oh, absolutely.
That with them, what they can do as far as they don't give up a lot of points, it seems like Spags always dials up a perfect blitz. I think that when you can blitz Jalen Hurts in his face and you don't allow him to be able to step up, that's when Hurts kills you, and is when he's able to step up. If you force him to have to go left or right out of the pocket, he normally just runs and throws it out of bounds somewhere.
Yeah.
It's when he can step up, that's when he can really kill defenses. And I just think that there's going to be a Chiefs game plan where they're able to slow that down and just make it really, really hard. Philadelphia is going to have to be able to Saquon Barkley has to run the ball. He has to run for over 100 yards. He has to have, one of the best games of his career. I shouldn't say the best game of his career just because he's had so many huge games already in his time. But I'm going with the Chiefs in this one. I think the Chiefs win this. As far as what was the line at 48.5? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Two really, really good defenses. I'm going to go under on this one just because I think that both teams are going to want to try to run the rock, and defenses are really, really good. I'm going Chiefs. I'm going under the 48.5, and my MVP pick, I'm going Xavier Worthy. I think, like I said in that, I think there's going to be a big player to Worthy, whether it's rushing or passing. I don't know. Could be either one. But I'm going Xavier Worthy with the MVP in this game.
Worthy is plus 3,000. Plus 3,000.
I think points are going to be hard to come out, and that's why the obvious pick that you go with when you think of the Chiefs winning is Patrick Mahomes. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points on the board. So if Mahomes only has one touchdown pass or possibly two touchdown passes, if Xavier Worthy is the guy that catches both of them, or he has a big play for a 60, 70 yard touchdown, that might be what gets the MVP. So I like that plus 3,000. I'm going Chiefs. Chiefs win. Under. Xavier Worthy MVP.
I'm going. There's half of me that wants to ride with your Chiefs minus 1.5, but there's another part of me that wants to take the Eagles money line here, and it's not because of there's such a difference. Man. But the Chiefs, they are the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they are the Chiefs. And ironically enough, Pat Riley, out of all people, tends to, or has the potential to make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know about this?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Pat Riley, when he was with I believe it was the Lakers, did a three-peat.
Mm-hmm.
He bought the rights to the
Okay, yes, I did hear.
And so anything that is printed, anything that any merchandise, he has that copywritten. Like that's his stuff. So I bet you Pat Riley is one of the biggest Chiefs fans out there besides Taylor Swift, because he stands to make a lot of money off of the phrase three-peat. So give me the Chiefs minus 1.5. I'm taking the over on this. I think that, yes, both these defenses are good, but the offenses are too good.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at some of the odds here. We're pulling off FanDuel. # not sponsored, wanna be sponsored. Mahomes is plus 110 for MVP. Saquon is plus 280. Jalen Hurts plus 350. Then it jumps all the way up to Travis Kelce at plus 1,800. Xavier Worthy plus 3,000, and AJ Brown plus 3,600. It just seems like, I don't know. And one of the biggest reasons why my brain is telling me Kansas City 2Ks is I do not trust Philly's kicker at all. You cannot miss extra points in the NFL, especially in the playoffs. Which is weird because he'll drill 48, 50-yard field goals, but he has trouble with extra points. Harrison Butker doesn't do that.
And he's kicked in these situations how many times now?
Yes. I have a very good feeling that's going to come into play. Now, what scares me is the hook. Is the hook here 2Ks? Because could the Chiefs win like 28-27? If that's the case, hook will get you.
Yeah.
The hook will get you. So that's the Chiefs minus 1.5 is minus 110. The money line is only minus 124. So maybe take the money line there, because because I do expect this to be a close game.
Sure.
This is going to be within a field goal.
I think it's going to be a very close game too. I don't see either one of these teams getting blown out.
No. So if you're thinking, if you don't want to get bitten by the hook, take the money line. Like I said, it's not that big of a difference when it comes to the odds. But with that being said, I do think Kansas City wins by 3. I don't think they win by 1. And as far as MVP goes, give me Mahomes. I think a lot of times this is just it's unless someone has an overly extreme statistical game, these tend to go to quarterbacks, which is why, two out of the top 3
are quarterbacks.
League.
It's quarterback league. I mean, that's
and now if I was going Philly to win, by all means Saquon Barkley. I mean, that's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, if Philly's going to win this game, Saquon's got to have a day. He's got to have, and maybe it's not all, him taking handoffs. Maybe it's him catching 3 or 4 passes and being able to get a big reception for a big one, for a touchdown, whether 50, 60 yard or something like that out of the backfield, catching the ball out of the backfield. So, yeah, I get so stuck up on, it seems like so many times in the Super Bowl, I didn't run into it last year, but in other Super Bowls with the Chiefs, I've always went against them. They're going to get beat this time. This is the one where somebody's going to beat them. Yeah. And last year I was smart enough to be like, nope. Everybody was saying, take San Fran. I'm like, nope, I'm not betting away from Mahomes. He's going to win it. And so therefore I'm not fucking doing it this year either. And now with everything on the line, this is it. This is their three-peat. They were talking about this before they even played the Super Bowl last year. Yeah. So, everything on the line here. I'm not putting money on against Mahomes. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Now you mentioned Saquon has to have a day. Well, his over/under rushing yards on FanDuel is 110.5.
He's gonna have to go over it. Gonna have to go over it, and that is not going to be easy to do against Kansas City's defense. And that they're going to be. That's what they're going to try to stop him, and 100%. And that's where so then Jalen Hurts has to make plays, and AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are the two that they're probably going to see a lot of single coverage. Yeah. In this, because they're not going to let Saquon come in there and just run all over him.
Now, a couple things here. Let's see. Sprinkle a little extra on your ass here.
You talked about earlier, when we were doing different prop bets, though, when we talked about kicking situation, is there going to be a doink? Because I'm betting on the doink.
Betting on the doink, yeah.
I think there's going to be a doink in this game.
Now,
correct me if the doink, it can still be it can still fall in for the Commanders in the playoff series against the Bucks this year.
Yeah,
they can still doink and fall in, and you still get paid out for that, right? It doesn't have to be a doink miss. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be. I think there's a good chance of a doink in this game.
However, you cannot bet a doink on FanDuel.
I see. I feel like I've seen this before. I don't remember if it was FanDuel, DraftKings, one of them. But sometimes they add some different bets into it, like the closer we get to the game.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I'm guessing there's going to. I feel like I've bet on it before. I'm guessing somewhere we're going to figure out where we can bet on a doink. I'm going to figure it out. Yeah, right. And I'm definitely betting on there's going to be a doink in this game.
But just a couple here to sprinkle here, 2K crew, and we'll kind of leave you with the pick section here. I'm going over Mahomes rushing 29.5. I mean, it seems like the further in the playoffs they go, the more rushing yards he has. And leave you with one more here is Dallas Goedert over 4.5 receptions.
I like that one. I like that. I like Devonta Smith in this game to be. I'm not saying it's going to be a huge game, but I'm going to say, what's his over under on receiving yards?
Yards is 51.5.
I'm going to say Devonta Smith over 51.5 in this one. I think there's going to be obviously a lot of attention on Saquon, but there's going to be a lot of attention on AJ Brown as well. And
that's why I think Goddard is definitely getting over 4.5 catches. Definitely. And with Devontae Smith, it could be screen passes. It could be little,
What would it be for plus, like, for 25 receiving yards out of, and it would be an alternative receiving yards for Saquon. So if Saquon at like 25,
what is his?
I bet it would be plus something pretty decent.
Yeah, because they have his receiving yards at over under 12.5. Yeah, that's at minus 110.
Let me look at this real quick. This is probably one that, let me see what the heck he gets.
The passing yards, Jalen Hurts over under 210.5. Mahomes over under 251.5.
Saquon is plus 275 for over 25 receiving yards. I really like that one just because
I like that too.
I think that obviously the game plan is going to be try to get Saquon the ball. The Chiefs are going to be dialed up for trying not to let them just run all over them. There's going to be I would be shocked if there's not opportunities for 3 or 4 passes to Saquon just to try to get him some different looks, try to get him maybe a mismatch with a linebacker
and extension of the run game.
Yep, try to get him the ball and the passing. He's not a huge threat, in games. A lot of times you see him and he's the kind of a guy that he might catch 1 or 2 passes out of the backfield in a game. But this is a Super Bowl. This is the last game of the season. I think there's a good chance he catches 3 or 4 out of the backfield. And so for him, he's a guy that can turn a reception for majority of guys. It's maybe a 5-6 yarder. He can turn that into a 60 yarder and have that in one. So I like that the plus 275 for 25 receiving yards for him.
There you go, 2K crew. There you go. You have not only our picks, but if you want to get on the weird and wild props, what was the name of that site again?
Sportsgeek.
Bovada. 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 I'm not clicking on it, but if you want to check it out, go ahead and check it out. 2K, is there anything else we need to wrap up here? I got to all my tweets. But yeah, we're definitely not gonna have a show next week.
No,
because we're gonna be balls deep in wings and beer, amongst pizza, everything else. So everyone out there, have a great week. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Let us know your picks. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. And as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.